PlayStation VR already offers a wide array of interesting experiences. However, story-driven AAA titles are still a very rare breed among VR games. Does Crytek's Dinosaur-Space-Adventure finally fill that void, or do gamers still have to wait for the killer app? The game's story is quickly set up. Spaceship Emeralda crashes on a planet called Tyson 3. A boy named Robin and his cheeky robot Higgs survive the crash. Robin quickly makes friends with Laika, a newly hatched T-Rex baby, and adopts her as his pet. After finding some clues about what might have actually happened to the spaceship, Robin decides to further search the planet for clues, hoping that these clues will eventually lead him to other survivors. While it is interesting to unravel the events that led to the crash, you never feel a big enough investment in the characters. Robin is just a generic boy with no particular character traits or interesting backstory. Laika is cute, but there is no meaningful connection between her and Robin that would really make you care about her. Higgs is funny, but the concept of a talking robot orb feels too familiar.
My scans indicate that this is a high-risk area, mainly on account of it being a tyrannosaur's nest.
It's worth noting that the game is very short. Just as you feel like the story is finally getting started, the game ends abruptly. Don't expect it to last more than 6 hours. 8 hours if you're hunting for trophies. The visuals look very impressive in VR for the most part. Wandering through a dense jungle, just staring at long necks or observing a miniature T-Rex feels magical. The game has a few moments that will really stick with you and make you feel like a child again, experiencing video games for the first time or watching Jurassic Park for the first time. Looking at the visuals outside of VR doesn't do the game justice. You simply have to experience it for yourself. However, the game does suffer from some common VR limitations. Low poly character models and objects, muddy textures, and severe pop-in effects. Luckily, most of these problems won't take you out of the immersive experience because Sony's VR headset has a relatively low resolution display. It's worth noting that I ran into some strange glitches during my playthrough, both visual and sound, that will most definitely break the immersion. I did experience some motion sickness, but the game does a good job trying to keep it to a minimum. For example, Robin moves very slowly, and his always visible right hand gives you a point to fixate on if things get too hectic. And you can always adjust the camera settings to make you feel more comfortable. I found the preset pie chart movement to be the most pleasant. While it may not look pretty from an outside perspective, it does a very good job minimizing unwanted VR side effects. The game's soundtrack offers an adequate backdrop to the dino action and exploring. It is, however, very limited, and there is no piece of music that really stands out. The sound effects are solid as well. The dinosaur sound effects are one of the highlights. The creatures sound appropriately massive and sometimes scary. Hearing a T-Rex roar in the distance will make you stop for a second.
Listen to that. One day your friend will be just like that monster out there, 4 meters tall and very hungry.
Robin himself doesn't say very much, unlike Higgs, who talks a lot. While it may seem amusing at first, some of Higgs' soundbites are definitely overused.
I'll add that one straight away. Scanned and added. Scanned and added.
To uncover the mystery of the crash, Robin has to find old Higgs units containing sound snippets of the Esmeralda crew. To attain these pieces of information, the player has to solve simple physics-based puzzles with the help of Robin's scan unit that can lift and move heavy objects. Yes, the scanning unit does look like a PlayStation Move controller, and no, the PlayStation Move is not supported. This feels like a massive missed opportunity. To add some variety to the physics puzzles, the game makes you solve power supply puzzles. However, these mechanics feel more like a chore and are never fully explained to begin with. That is maybe the game's biggest weakness. Oftentimes you don't have a clue what the game expects you to do, resulting in a very frustrating and slow game of trial and error. Higgs occasionally drops some clues on what to do next, but more often than not, these clues are useless because they're too generic and confusing.
I'd wager those pterosaurs are behind this power outage. Let's find the proof so we can exact a fitting revenge.
The interactions with Laika are very limited and feel unfinished. There are only a couple of times the game actually makes you use Laika in a meaningful way. Climbing is by far the worst aspect of the gameplay and a perfect example of how unintuitive the controls can feel at times. To climb, the player has to use both shoulder buttons representing Robin's hands. The problem is that you never know if Robin will actually take a hold of that ledge or if he will just wave at it. This can get very frustrating, as you never quite know if you're going the right way or if the game deliberately tries to push you in another direction. The frustration with the climbing mechanics is further enhanced by poorly placed checkpoints and the addition of moving ledges. One of the more well thought out gameplay mechanics is the ability to scan wildlife found on Tyson 3. By scanning animals, you will get further information and the ability to take a closer look at the creatures in the infotarium. The scanning mechanics work well and are a welcome addition for completionists. As interactions with the world are mostly limited to objects, the game feels like riding a theme park attraction during great lengths of the experience. You feel like a silent observer, taking in all the sights and enjoying the ride. While this may work for the most part, it doesn't work during more tense and action-oriented moments. You know exactly if you are in real danger or if the raptors at the bottom of the pit just serve as a simple harmless attraction and jump scare along the ride, preventing any real sense of suspense.
This is Pod 3091659, broadcasting on all frequencies. If there are any other survivors out there, let me know.
In conclusion, Robinson The Journey does have its moments of magic, and in a VR lineup that is still very limited and mostly focused on bite-sized minigames, it comes as a welcome diversion from the norm and a step in the right direction. In the end, the problems with the repetitive gameplay mechanics, unintuitive controls, shallow story and short length make it seem like the game is unfinished and was rushed out. And that's a shame because the potential is definitely there.